Alright, you're looking at an example of the 5-point profile. We're going to start out the page by turning it into a landscape orientation. That means you got to turn your book sideways to set this up. I would like you to fit between 5 and 6 of these 5-point profiles on your page. Keep them equal distance apart, and I guess that would mean that you could probably fit another profile in between each one. And so that gives you some space to work with and to set up the interior parts of your drawing. Let's review that a 5-point profile has a brow, a nose, an upper lip, a lower lip, and a chin. These are all integral parts of the 5-point profile. If we leave one of them out, we're going to get a vastly different profile. So even though these faces look different, they all contain the same 5 points. The thing that makes the faces different from one another is the value that we put on the 5 points and the proximity of the interior objects to the profile. Those are the two major things that make these things stand out. So when we are choosing to make our 5-point profile, we can make a heavier brow and a smaller nose, a heavier upper lip, smaller lower lip. We can have a chin that juts out, or we could have one that comes in. And these are all things that you got to literally play around with before you embark on this. Play around with these variations. You could have a face that is longer, that still has the 5 points, or a shorter face, or a bigger forehead. It's going to be up to what you're trying to create, okay, when you do this. Once we have the profiles set up, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to work with proximity. We're going to put some shapes into these profiles. The eyes would be the first ones that I would start with, and it's basically half an eye. You're looking at an eye from the side, so you're getting a shape that is the shape of a piece of pie. It's kind of triangular, or like a half of a lemon or half of a football. And when you set that in, you decide how close to the profile do I want this to be, or how far do I want to push that back. Are the eyes kind of protruding, or are the eyes deeper set? And that, again, is a choice that you must make. I had made a comment about ears. When we're setting ears up, we don't want them to be any higher than the eyebrows or any lower than the nostril. And when we're setting up the nostrils, let's remember that your nostril really has 2 parts always. You've got the interior part of the nostril that you breathe through, and I usually draw that first. And then you have the exterior. That would be the part that somebody might get pierced, okay, or the part that you would scratch with your finger if you had an itch. It's the outside of the nostril. That's pretty important as well. All right, as we move ahead, you probably noticed the guy with the beard. He still had 5 points to his profile, but it looked kind of weird because his chin was really huge and his upper lip was really pushing out. Later on, I came back and I embellished, and I put hair in for the beard of the bearded guy. So you can do stuff like that. You know, if somebody's wearing glasses, their 5-point profile may come out a little funky because you've added that one little piece of eyeglasses to the bridge of their nose. So you are going to encounter situations where the 5-point profile might have something that seems distorted until you start embellishing, and then, you know, it comes out really neat. What else can I tell you? All right, well, we're already into, you know, putting hair on the subject. We can use the hair in this particular case as it starts to crash into the next profile. It will eradicate the line that that profile was made out of. When we're doing that, when something like hair or a piece of architecture starts to push into the line, it does give us an opportunity to kind of resculpt the profile. If we made the nose a little big and you don't like it, you've got a chance to kind of resculpt it and make it more slender or pointier or angular. You know, you have those shots at doing that as you continue to embellish. I used pattern to embellish. I used texture to embellish. I used shading to embellish. There's quite a few elements that I dipped into to be able to get each character to stand out. So embellishment, as always, is really important. This is a very linear exercise, and both curvilinear and straight lines are used. A lot of hatching lines are involved in this to suggest shading, to suggest the kind of topographical aspect of the faces, what we would call cross contour, which we really haven't gotten into that much yet. But we started out with contour lines, and I'm following up by repeating a lot of those contour lines, and when you start repeating them, it starts to describe the surface of things, and you get into the interiors of the face, like the cheekbone, or maybe a double chin, or some kind of curvature. I did not spend a lot of time on this, but please embellish. All right, whether it's clothes, hats, jewelry, utilize your embellishment on this. All right, I will wish you good luck. Bye.